It's once again time for Draw the Prompt. If you don't know about it, Draw the Prompt is a tag I've created over on Instagram where every 2 weeks we have a prompt word to draw. This time the word was fall and I wanted to draw something simple, a girl with an autumn outfit. I started by drawing some random simple poses to warm up until I did something I liked and wanted to use. Now, I like to use this speed paint to share with you some drawing tips, things that I've learned and realized as I grew as an artist, to help you out on your own journey. People often ask me what should I do to become a better artist faster, and the truth is there is no secret shortcut to achieve it. It all comes down to practice and learning from life. But there are of course some things in which you can focus and hopefully help you achieve your own goals as an artist. So let's start with the first tip, which is have a good workspace and avoid distractions. When setting yourself up to draw, it's important that you're in a place where you feel comfortable. Now this may change from person to person. Maybe you prefer to draw on your sofa while watching a movie. You might prefer to sit in your room, alone, listening to music or in complete silence. On the other hand, some people prefer to go out, to a coffee place or even to a park and draw what they see. But usually it's important that the place you're at is where you feel the most comfortable. If noises is something that distracts you, then it's important to stay in the place where there isn't a lot of sound. Listen to some soothing music while working or use a white noise app to listen to if that helps. For example, I usually prefer to listen to music while drawing and doing any kind of task really, because it helps me focus on the task at hand. Another thing you can do is put your phone in silence mode and close all your tabs on your computer. I'm usually very easily lured to go scroll through social media every once in a while when working, so this is incredibly distracting for me, and closing everything up will stop me from feeling tempted to distract myself. Streaming is something that actually helped a lot with keeping my focus on drawing. While streaming, I'm only focusing on what I'm drawing and interacting with my amazing viewers. All in all, it's important to identify what distracts us, finding solutions to eliminate them so we can keep our productivity. Another thing that is important in your workplace is that it is clean and there's enough light. Now, on the clean part, I gotta say that I can be very messy and I don't mind some cluttering around me while working, as long as I still know where everything is and won't distract me or make me uncomfortable. And I know lots of artists don't mind working on a more cluttered space, actually even welcome it. But again, we're all not the same. So for some people, it's important that everything is clean and organized so they have plenty of space to work on. Find your own balance on your working space. If you don't mind some cluttering, it's important to have enough space to work on, so to avoid accidents or mistakes while working. And light is very important so you can see clearly what you're doing. If I'm drawing with my markers, I'd rather do it during the day, so I can take advantage of the natural light entering the room. That way I can see the colors very clearly and how they work together. On the other hand, when doing digital art, it doesn't make as much of a difference what kind of light I'm using, but it's very important that there's enough of it while working. I can't work in the dark at all, or else I know I'll regret it later and suffer a big headache. So light is important not only to see what you're doing clearly, but also to your own health. Alright, so having a good and comfortable workplace to draw is very important, so now it's time for the second tip, which is start with the basics. I know we want to draw amazing pieces right away. I've been there too, but the truth is we're not ready for that yet. What we imagine in our head is not yet on par with our own skill. I used to get very demotivated about my art because of this. It looked nothing like what I imagined. At some point I realized I was maybe trying to get ahead of myself, so I started to simplify things, start small, and break everything down into simpler steps. This might sound silly to you, but before drawing a whole character or a whole scenery, or even an object, start by opening your sketchbook and draw straight lines. Drawing a straight line seems easy enough, but it's not just about knowing how to do it. It's about learning to have control of your own lines and the tools you use. At first, our lines look very shaky. This is because we're not used to them yet. We're not yet confident enough, and that shows. But if you fill up a page or two with straight lines, you'll see that you'll get more used to drawing them and the way they look will be much better. So don't be afraid of doing simple exercises like this. They will help build confidence in your drawings. Once you feel good about drawing straight lines, jump onto drawing curved lines. After the lines, come shapes. Draw squares, triangles, circles, whatever comes to your mind. Draw these in several sizes and as regular or irregular as you wish. Now once you're used to drawing flat shapes, start adding some three-dimensionality to them. Draw cubes, pyramids, cylinders, and experiment drawing them in different perspectives. Take this chance and start experimenting with composition and lighting. Pick up a cube and a cylinder and try to create a simple composition with them. Think about the light source and shade your shapes accordingly. With very simple lines and shapes, you can already learn so much. Once you feel confident enough, start learning to draw the things you want to. You'll see that it will become much easier once you've learned the basics. Alright, following this topic, we arrive to my third tip, which is study life. This is very important. If you want to draw characters, then you need to learn anatomy. Of course, you can have a very stylized way of drawing anatomy later on, but you still need to learn it. Find gesture drawing classes close to where you live, specifically ones with models. Take pictures of yourself in different poses. Find pictures online on Pinterest, Unsplash.com, Pixabay.com, and many others. If gesture drawing is something that you really want to practice, but there are no classes nearby, then there are amazing websites that can help you with that, like lineofaction.com. This is one of my favorite websites to go when I want to practice quick poses. If you want to draw hands, for example, then pose your own hands and draw them. Again, take pictures. I remember in university, in our drawing classes, we had an assignment where we had to draw hands. So we would pose for each other, take pictures of each other's hands, so we could use as reference for our own drawings. And this goes for everything you want to draw, be it flowers, buildings, objects. If you want to draw from nature, then go outside, sit down in a park and draw what you see. If you want to draw a specific object like a pipe, try to find one and draw it. It's always very helpful to be in contact with the thing you want to draw, because that way you can draw it from different perspectives and can observe and study it into detail. But if that's not possible, then finding pictures of it will already be of great help. And this brings us to my next tip, which is use references. There's a bit of a stigma around that tells us that using references is bad. This is something that finally seems to be dying a bit, which is great, because using references is a must. If you don't look at a thing you want to learn to draw, then how can you know how to draw it? It's impossible. If I want to draw a chair, then I need to know how it looks like. So I either pick up a chair or find pictures of one online and draw it. If I want to draw nice outfits for my characters, then I'll go look for different outfits online and learn to draw them. Everyone does this, and using references will make you a better artist, believe me. You can't learn and become better if you don't use references. You learn by observing what you want to draw. Now, I'm going to say something even more shocking. Don't be afraid to draw on top of the references you find. If you want to draw a pose and are having some trouble, feel free to draw simple shapes on top of the picture you're studying. This makes it easier for you to understand where everything is and how it connects. You don't get magically super good at drawing. You need to start somewhere, and that's by using and looking for good references. Once you've done enough studies, you no longer need as many references, but until then, keep using them. I draw characters all the time, and sometimes I still look for posing references, even if it's just to inspire me. Moving on, I want to give you a more exciting tip. Experiment. Don't stick with just one medium. Often we keep ourselves to using a pencil and paper only because it's scary to use other more complicated tools. Leave those fears behind. Learn to see new things as something fun. Once we change our mindset, we start being more confident and less afraid of failure. Of course, some of those experiments won't turn out great, but you had fun. That's what counts. Draw different ways, different techniques, different tools, and don't think too much about the results. Have fun with the process. You never know, you might find a new tool that you really like to work with. Maybe you'll even find a new art style this way. This brings us to another very important tip, which is don't be afraid of failure. This is the reason a lot of people will give up on drawing. We're too focused on the end result when we should enjoy the process. Embrace failure. Once you do, you realize you're actually learning with your mistakes instead of trading them. Every time we fail, we learn something new. We learn to do it differently next time. That's why I think that experimenting and failure go hand in hand. As I said, when trying something new and different than what we're used to, it's natural that it won't come out perfect. But that's a good thing. That means there's space and improvement and a chance to do more and better. It also means that you're understanding and learning what you like to do and what you don't. For example, I kinda dreaded drawing traditionally. Why? Because it's hard to hide my mistakes. I can't fix them as easily as when I draw digitally. But for the past few years, I decided to have fun with it. Yes, they're not perfect drawings and definitely not on par to what I can do on PC, but you know what? It's fun. It's fun coming up with new ideas, pick up my markers and try different techniques without worrying if it comes out bad at the end. And yes, sometimes I don't love the end result, but I don't hate it either. I learned to still enjoy the process, see what I did wrong and make it better next time. So learn to embrace your mistakes and bad drawings. You see that once you do, drawing will become much easier and fun for you. Alright, on to the next tip. I believe it's the 7th tip. Learn with others. Look up artists that you like and learn from them. Study their art. See how and why they do the things they do. The way they draw, compose their pieces and how they use color. Take them as reference. There is no shame in doing this as long as you're doing for learning purposes and not claim it as your own. Remember that these are not yours, but it's a way of learning. As I learned, I would look up my favorite artists and pick certain things from their drawings and try to replicate them. This way I was learning new ways and styles of drawing, and this is how you develop your own thing. Just as it's important to get references from the real world, it's important to reference from professional artists. You can learn a lot with them. Lots of artists also post their own studies and tutorials, so don't be afraid to seek different tutorials from different people and learn them. Some might work for you and others might not, but there's no way for you to find out until you try them. All in all, I think it's important to follow other artists that we look up to. Looking at others' arts will help us get inspired and feel motivated to reach the same kind of level. Alright, tip number 9. Always bring a sketchbook with you. You never know when inspiration will hit you, so it's good to always have a sketchbook and a pen or pencil with you. Whenever I leave home, I bring my small sketchbook on my purse. Most of the times I don't draw on it, but I take notes of things I remember and want to draw later. If I find something interesting during my day, I'll write it down. I also like to keep on my sketchbook tickets, pamphlets and other things that I like and want to see later or want to keep. A sketchbook doesn't need to be all about drawing. You can doodle, write down ideas, information that you've learned and want to keep it somewhere. It can be almost as a visual board. At least that's what I use my sketchbook for. Sometimes I even write recipes in it. Recipes that I find and want to try out. Then I take the chance and draw simple doodles of the ingredients, the process, and other things. Everything serves as inspiration, so feel free to fill your sketchbook with anything you want to. Do you write? Then write snippets of your ideas on your sketchbook. This way you won't forget about this. So always try to have a small sketchbook with you so you can draw and write down any kind of idea that comes to you. And now we reach to the last tip I have for you today, which is be consistent and practice a lot. Set up a schedule and try to keep it. Take a bit every day to practice, even if it's just half an hour per day. It's already something that you did. Remember that the more you practice, the better you become. If you draw daily, you'll see changes, sooner or later. Even if you can't draw daily, try to keep a schedule. Even if it's just 1 or 2 days per week. Drawing is a skill and needs train, just like any other. It's the same with exercising. If you want to get fit, you need to exercise consistently. If you only go to the gym once a month, you won't see any improvements. The same goes for drawing. So, try to set a goal. I want to draw at least twice a week. Set up the timing and the day and just do it. Once you sit down to draw, remember to relax. If you're tense, your drawings will show it. You're drawing because it's fun, so relax and let the fun begin. And of course, if you're drawing for longer than an hour, remember to take breaks. For example, this drawing was done on stream. I stream for around 3 hours usually, so I always take a break at around middle of the stream. Your body shouldn't be on the same position for too long. It's bad for your back, for your legs, arms and hands. So every hour or two, take a break. Walk around the house for a bit, have a snack, a glass of water and then come back at it. Now, I'm sure there's more tips for beginner artists around, so if you have other tips, feel free to share them in the comments. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this drawing. I did very minor changes off stream, and even though this was more of a comfort zone drawing, it was quite fun to develop this character along with the people watching. If you're interested in watching my streams, I stream every Tuesday. I start at 9 PM Western European Standard Time, so feel free to come by and draw along with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video and want to see more, and as always, keep on drawing!